Hello, ethics class. This is Dr. Wade Howell, and I am going to be your professor for this semester as we look at Introduction to Ethics. So, this is your first video, and what I'm going to do in this welcome video is say, it's good to have you in class. I'm glad that you're going to be joining me in this endeavor when we go through the topic of moral philosophy, the introduction to moral philosophy. We're going to have a good semester. What I want to accomplish in this video is tell you about my expectations and about the syllabus and what you're going to be doing this semester. And this single video will cover each of my sections. There are 3 sections this semester, and the video is going to be the same. We'll be looking at the Canvas shell for session OI1, but if you're in the other 2, yours should end up being identical. So we've got a little bit of a PowerPoint that you have available, and if you were to enter the course and go to the first module, I think you land on the syllabus page, but you can go to the first module, and this welcome video, that's where you found this video, and the PowerPoint is available, though it's not going to be much. It's just there for you. So the class is Philosophy 2600, and I am Dr. Howell, your professor, and welcome to Ethics. We're going to talk about the syllabus for the majority of this video. It is available in Canvas, so you should be able to look at that there, and we will look at it in just a moment. Office hours. I am not regularly on campus, but I am available by phone, and if there needs to be a meeting on campus, we can arrange that, but we'll have to schedule that. My email is here. It will also be on the syllabus, so it's wade.howell@fgc.edu. And my phone is my cell phone number, so you can send me text messages if you'd like. My preferred method of communication is email or through Canvas, just so we have a good record of everything. But if something is urgent, and if you've sent me an email and it's an urgent thing that you need a response to, then you can just text me on my phone, or you can give me a phone call, and we can deal with it there. Okay, and we'll see on the syllabus that we are going to be using the Rachel's, the elements of moral philosophy. Anything from 6th edition through 9th edition should be acceptable. If you can find the earlier editions, they are less expensive, so that should be quite fine. One thing that I'm going to do first before we get into our syllabus is talk about introductions. So what I would like you to do is in the introductions section, the discussion for introductions, the introductions discussion, to answer the following things. Let everybody introduce yourself in that. So I'm going to do it first, and then if each of you would just type in your responses so that the other class members will have a chance to get to know one another. So a little bit about me. My name is Wade Howell. I was born and raised in Lake Butler, Florida, and so that's very close to Florida Gateway College. I graduated in 1992 from Union County High School, and I went into the United States Navy and served as a hospital corpsman for a number of years. For 6 years, I served in the Navy, and then after while I was in the Navy, well, the first class I ever took, actually, was at Florida Gateway College. They had just started dual enrollment. When I was a high schooler, I found out about it near the middle of my high school senior year, and I was able to take one class, and I took an English Comp 1 in summer A. After I had graduated, I finished up the class. So I got one class. It was the idea of, I get to take a class for no cost, and I took that class. While I was in the Navy, I completed an associate's degree through what was then Florida Community College at Jacksonville. It's now Florida State College at Jacksonville. And I transferred to the University of North Florida and did a semester's worth of work there. And then I ended up getting married and moved back in Lake City and finished up a degree in business administration through the University of Florida. After that, we ended up moving the family into New Orleans, and I completed two master's degrees and a PhD out of New Orleans, and in religious studies and philosophy. And so I have taught at a number of different institutions, and I've taught anything from religious classes to philosophy to history, ethics, humanities. So I'm somewhat of a generalist. I enjoy teaching ethics because it's it's a class where we touch on important issues and issues that are really basic to humanity when we're talking about the things we should or should not do. So you can call me Dr. Howell. You can call me Wade. That's fine. When you're addressing me, Dr. Howell is a little more formal, but that's fine. So I'm looking at the introductions. I'll go back to that now. So this is the information I want us to kind of go through. So my name, of course, and I'm giving you a little bit more than you have to do in your introductions. I told you where I'm from. That's where I call home, was Lake Butler, where I was born and raised. My education and career goals. I've told you my education history. An interesting fact about you. I usually point to my military service as an interesting fact. I did serve for 6 years, but most all of my service was in Jacksonville because I was a psychiatric technician with the Navy, and so I didn't have a whole lot of. It was during some times when there were some conflicts, but I didn't participate a whole lot in that. I also scuba dive and do that, so that's interesting about me, I guess. And then the last thing is, why are you in this class? So as you're going through and answering these, I want you to tell me whether you're in this class because it's a requirement, and what that means is if you did not have to take it, you would not take this class. So that's what I want you to, and I expect most people that will be the answer is, I'm in this class because I have to. And what I want here is an honest answer. So you're not going to earn any extra points if you say, oh yeah, I really want to take this class. But what I want to do is see how many people will say, yes, I'm only in this class because my program requirements say I have to take this class. Or maybe it was I could pick between this class and another, but I wouldn't have picked either one, but I have to take this one and it was open. And that would put you in the class of being required to take this class. Now, some people may say, oh, I've always been interested in ethics. I've always thought that was a topic I would want to study, and I don't really have to take it, or maybe I do have to take it, but even if I didn't have to take it, I would take this class as a free elective. If that's the case, then you tell me you're in the class because you want to be. Now, here's my expectation, and we'll see how it bears out in the responses. Usually, maybe 5 to 10% of the students in the class would take ethics if they were not forced to. The rest of you, the other 95%, normally say, I'm here because it's required for my degree, or I could have picked 1 or 2 classes. I wouldn't have taken either, but they make me take it. So be honest in your responses. And what I want us to do is to be able to look and see, what I expect to see is that the majority of people will say, I would not have taken this class if I didn't have to. And what I want to say about that is, I understand that, and I'm going to try to structure the class, and my videos and lectures I've tried to structure them in a way that when you get to the end of the class, you may say, I would not have taken that class. I wasn't interested in this class. I didn't want to be here. However, I can see now that these are important issues, and I hope that at the end of the class, you will say, even though I didn't want to take it, I'm glad that I did take it, and I feel like I've learned something, I've grown as a person. That's what I hope. And at the end of the semester, then you can determine whether or not that actually happened. So that's what I would like to have you answer those questions in that discussion. And that way we can get to know a little bit about you, and you can see if my expectation holds true that most of the students are in the class because it's required. And that's certainly okay. That's not something to worry about. Now let me see if I can zoom in on this. We're going to look at the syllabus next. So each of you in your own shells will have the section number will be a little different. So I think we've got 3 different sections, but this is Philosophy 2600 or Ethics and Fall 2020. You've got my name. I don't have an on-campus office, but you do have my email and cell phone. We've already touched on that and touched on the office hours. And I've mentioned the text already there. So the general objectives and the description of the course, I think it's important that we look at them. Philosophy 2600 or Ethics is the philosophical exploration of the concepts of right and wrong. We all, as human beings, raise questions of the form, is this action or societal policy morally correct? Or is this behavior a reflection of my better self? In Philosophy 2600, we try to answer questions/problems like these with philosophical correctness and creative thought. We will investigate a variety of ethical issues, euthanasia, abortion, animal rights, capital punishment, sexual morality, and so on, and learn what great thinkers like Kant and Mill have said about ethical problem solving. So, what is that saying? First of all, it's telling us that we are going to look generally at philosophy through the lens of historical positions and approaches to doing ethics. So this is not an ethical issues class where we're going to debate one topic from week to week. We are going to look broadly at historical approaches to answering ethical questions. And so each module that we go through, for example, when we look at utilitarianism, or if we look at virtue ethics, or if we look at a religious-based ethical system, we will try to set the framework of how you would answer ethical questions given that framework, that approach. So we're not just going to argue about different issues week to week. Now, you could take a class like that, an ethical issues class, where basically all semester you simply address and study ethical issues. But that's not what this class is. So this is a broad introduction to the topic of ethics. So that's what we're going to do. Now, we've got some general learning outcomes for the course. The course is committed to the following general learning outcomes: communications. Students will demonstrate the ability to understand and produce effective writing. Critical thinking. Students will demonstrate the ability to evaluate information in terms of quality. And B, students will demonstrate the ability to question and evaluate concepts to draw appropriate conclusions and well-supported conclusions. So what this means is that not only are we looking for you to comprehend the information, we're looking for you to be able to communicate that information in a written form. Okay, so you are going to have to write in this class, and we have got some papers that will do that. Course-specific learning outcomes. As a result of the course, the student will be able to demonstrate an understanding of how to define morality, demonstrate awareness of what well-known philosophers have said about morality and ethical questions, develop a written, well-considered personal philosophical position on a moral question upon review of selected readings within philosophical literature, and that satisfies the general learning outcome of communications. Demonstrate the ability to evaluate the quality of philosophical positions of various moral issues, and that satisfies the general learning outcome of critical thinking. And state a philosophical problem, analyze the arguments pro and con, and state a conclusion based on the premise or premises deemed to be the strongest, and that will satisfy, again, general learning outcome of critical thinking. So these are division and course outcomes that we expect and that we are going to work on in this semester. The prerequisites: there are no prerequisites for the class, but it is recommended that you have taken freshman composition. You need to be able to write effectively, and so if you struggle with that, it will make it harder for you in this class. Class participation is important. Since this course is online, you will participate by completing assigned readings, viewing the course lectures, responding in lecture discussions, and participating in the topic discussions. The course lectures expand on the readings. Lecture discussions provide opportunity to clarify and explore ethical methods and issues. Failing to participate in lecture discussions deprives you and others of insight and reflection on our discussion topics. So participation is important, and you will do that participation through the discussions. Now, I'm going to try this semester, we're going to try, since everybody got excited and got to use Zoom in the previous semesters, what I'm going to try to do is schedule, and there will be announcements about this, but I'm going to try to schedule some sessions where students from all of the sessions of the ethics class will be able to join in a Zoom meeting, and you can ask questions and we can have some live discussions, and we'll see how this works out. That will be something to enhance and to provide more for the course, but the graded portions will be these written parts of participation. And the course may change in the future to include some of that, but we will schedule the times, and I know some people will be able to make it and others may not. So at this point, they will be a supplement to the written, but I encourage you to participate in those when we have the opportunity. Some expectations for you. My expectations for you, the student, I expect you to pay attention to all the due dates for the course. The course is, and we'll look at it in a moment, is set up in modules, and each module is based upon a week of class. Some of them include 2 weeks at a time, but during that week, you will be able to access that module, and you will need to complete the assignments in that module, and a couple of them have an assignment, for example, one of your papers. You will get into it in one of your module weeks, and it won't be due until a couple of weeks later. But you need to pay attention to the due dates for the course and to make sure that you complete all the assignments. I expect you to contact me if you're confused about an assignment. If there's something you don't understand, then reach out to me via email, via text, via cell phone, so that I can clarify it. Please do that and make sure you get your grade. Don't sit there and say, I didn't do it because I didn't know what to do. I will get back to you. I will help you understand what to do. There's nothing in this class that you are unable to complete, but if you're confused, please ask for help. I do expect you to complete all of the assignments. So you need to do all of them. Now, there's a number of assignments. Each chapter, you have assigned readings, and each of those assigned readings, there is going to be a quiz question, a true or false question that says, I completed this reading, and you have to answer that question. And if you did complete the reading, you click true, and if you didn't, you click false. And but that's how I will know that you have completed your readings, by your responding there. So, but you need to respond to the assignments. You need to complete them and complete them properly. And I expect you to try your best, and I expect you to try hard to produce quality work. This is not necessarily an easy class, but it is a class that you will be able to complete. And if you do everything that I ask you to do, and you do your best, then you will be able to pass the class. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get an A, but you will be able to pass the class. The people who do not pass this class are individuals who do not do the work, or they do not work hard on the work. But if you work hard and put in the effort, you will be able to pass this class. Your assignments, we have assigned reading. So we have a course schedule. This is a little bit of a holdover from the in-person version, but a course schedule will be published. It is published in the modules. That will include assigned reading in the course textbook as well as online resources. You are expected to read all the assigned material before watching the lecture video for which it is assigned. So in each of your modules, and we'll look at them again, we'll go look at them in a moment, but you have some readings that are assigned. Read chapter 1, read chapter 2, 3, whatever it is. And the quiz will let you know that you need to do that. So you need to read those quizzes. Read quizzes. You need to read the chapters in the book that the lecture is going to deal with. So make sure that you have read the material before watching the lecture video. That's just going to make it easier because you will understand the concepts if you read the material first. If you don't, then it's going to make it harder on you, and you'll need to go read it anyway. So you should do your reading beforehand. In addition, there are links that we'll look at to articles that you need to read. I do not accept late work. I will change the due date for emergencies if you contact me and request an extension before the assignment is due. If you do not get your due date changed and do not turn in your assignment on time, you will not receive credit for that assignment. So keep that in mind. Canvas allows me to shut the door on when you can turn in assignments. So they are programmed in. Pay attention to your due dates, complete your work, and turn it in on time. Now, life happens, and we had COVID happen last semester, and it's still going to be around. There's still going to be things that happen. If you have an issue, if you have something that comes up in your life, and you know, I cannot finish this paper on time. I need an extra 5 days, an extra 2 days. I need an extra week. Or I am not able to take the test this week, and I could take it. I just need 3 more days that I can get ready to take it. I don't mind changing the due date for you, for the individual. But you have to ask. Don't just assume that you can come to me after the fact and that I'll change it. But if something comes up and you send me an email or a text to say, Dr. Howell, I've had all kinds of things happen, from people having family emergencies to anything else you can imagine. Simply let me know, this is what's going on, I need this much time, and I will be happy to work with you. What I'll normally do for that is say, send me an email. So example, for say I'm working on my paper, but it's due tomorrow, and I know that I've got work and I can't get it done. I need 3 more days to do my paper. So what I will do is say, okay, send me an email that says I will turn in my paper by Wednesday or whatever day it is, the date. And I say I need more time and I want to request an extension to this time. You send me that email, I will respond okay, and then I will go back and change your time for turning in your paper to whatever date it is that we've agreed to. And then that's your new due date. If you don't turn it in then I'm sorry, but you have that option anyway. So if you have something that comes up, then please let me know. I will be happy to change the dates, but I don't accept late work. Now, why don't I accept late work? Sometimes you may have had classes where people will accept late work and you just lose points for every few days it's late. I think that encourages you to turn in your work late. That's why I don't accept late work. So you either turn it in when it's expected or you won't receive the grade for it. And I can change your due date if you have specific reasons. But that's the way I've done class for a long time, and I think that works best. So pay attention to your due dates and turn stuff in on time. Okay, so we've got assigned readings, and you've got ethical issue essays. There are 2 essays, and the essays are 60% of your grade. Okay, so each student will complete 2 essays discussing selected ethical issues. Papers will consist of a general description of the issue, factors to consider when addressing the issue, a course of action, an ethical course of action, and a discussion or / argument for why this course of action is appropriate. The papers will be submitted via Canvas. Okay, why this assignment? Ethical disagreements are prevalent in society. The ability to communicate a coherent ethical position on a moral question is a valuable skill. In addition, this is a Gordon Rule course, which requires a significant writing component. The ethical issue paper will partially fulfill the Gordon Rule requirements for the course. So we are a Gordon Rule course, so you have to write. You're going to do 2 papers. Now, I have done this different ways. I've had some classes submit 2 papers. I've had other classes submit 4 shorter papers. This time we're going to go with the 2 papers that are going to be a little bit longer. So you should look at a 6 to 8 page paper, maybe up to 10 pages, and you'll have to write 2. And I'm going to give you a case study. I'm going to give you all the information you need and tell you what to do for your paper. In fact, when we get there, as we talk along, we'll have another video where I try to explain that a little more and talk you through it. But you will have plenty of guidelines, and I'll tell you what the paper should look like. I've already written an example paper for you to read where I do what I'm asking you to do with a different case And if you follow that example and if you follow my instructions, you'll get a good grade on the paper. Some people ask me, because it's an ethics class, do I have to agree with you in my position on that? Well, no. You just have to have a good argument for whatever position you are making. And you'll be graded on the quality of your argument, not whether you agree with me on a particular ethical issue. In fact, I hope that as we go through the class, you won't even be able to guess what my issue or the way I would view a particular topic is. I'm going to try to present them as objectively as I can. So that's the ethical issue essays you're going to write. The two topics you're going to write about are, the first one is on the topic of abortion, and the second topic is on self-defense. So those are the two topics you will be writing on for your essays. Quizzes, 20% of your grade. Each student will complete quizzes as assigned in Canvas. The quizzes will cover the reading and selected vocabulary. Why this assignment? Quizzes help ensure you are keeping up with the reading and understanding the concepts we are discussing. So there are, I think, 5 quizzes, and every quiz and every test in this class is open notes, open book. So they're not a big deal. You have the lecture videos, you have the notes, your notes you take from that, and you have your textbook, and so use those to answer the questions. Tests, there are also 20%. Each student will complete tests in Canvas. There's 3 tests. The tests will cover the material from the lectures and from the reading. Tests will be cumulative and are open book, open note. So the quizzes will be more on the particular issues you discussed in that module. Tests will be cumulative. Why this assignment? Reviewing ideas and concepts periodically reinforces the process of learning. Tests help you retain the information you learn through the course of the semester. And finally, you've got discussion posts, and that's 5%. Each student will post a response to each of the 5 discussion topics. Posts should be original to the student and reflect a thoughtful response to the question. Why this assignment? Online courses do not have the opportunity for face-to-face interaction. Discussion of related issues provides for self-reflection and organization of your individual thoughts and perspectives. The discussion post will provide the opportunity for you to explore how some of the related topics fit together in a coherent view of ethics. It will also allow the professor to evaluate your grasp of the topics. So you have 5 discussion posts, each is worth 1%, and I will give a little video talking about those posts before you do them as well, trying to guide the discussion along with the written instructions. So write your post, and then they're going to be set up that after you've posted yours, then you can interact with others so that you can't see them until you have posted your thoughts, and then you can have discussions that go on there. So we will use that as a way to have some engagement within the class. So use them, okay? We have some other discussion posts there that are not graded posts. They're there for you to ask questions about the lectures and assignments. And those will also be available, but the ones that are graded are the 5 discussion posts listed in your modules as graded discussions. So if we look at the grading, here we've got our grade calculation. If you see, there's 30 points from your abortion ethical case study, and 30 points for the self-defense case study, 20 points for quizzes, 20 points for tests, and 5 points for discussion posts, which total up to 105 points. Okay, now the grading scale is based on 100. So what does that mean? That means you've got 5 points of extra credit built into the regular assignments. So if you get full credit for every assignment, you'll end up with more than 100 points, and you will have an A. Okay, so that means that there's extra credit built into the normal assignments. Now, I am not opposed to someone if they need extra credit. If you've already done all your other work and you're not getting a work, you don't do extra credit if you haven't done your other assignments. But if you need extra credit and we're getting to the end of the semester, I could potentially assign for you to read an article and write a paper on an article or something like that if you need it, and I'm not opposed to that. I've had very few students that have taken up that option over the years here at Florida Gateway. Some critical dates for the semester. Drop ad ends 8/21. Withdrawal is 10/29. Holidays, we've got Labor Day and Veterans Day. Final exams are between the 18th of November and the 24th of November, and the grades due to the college are due on December 1st. Okay, so that's important for you to know just when things are happening. And then we have a big section here, which is the mandatory statement. And they send us all of these statements that have to be in all the syllabi. So you ought to have them in every syllabus that you have, and they ought to be identical. And if everything's worked well, then they will be. So you've got information on the Student Success Center. Use it if you are able, okay? Grades first, resource information, grievance and complaint, academic appeal, how to withdraw from your course. All this information is here. Academic honesty. This is the one thing that I really stop and spend some time on. I try to design my written assignments so it's difficult for you to plagiarize, but people still do it. If you plagiarize, and I catch you, and if you plagiarize, I probably will catch you, not just because of the college tools that help us identify that, but believe it or not, when you write a paper, you have a certain voice. Your voice in your writing is very similar to your voice when you're speaking. And it's easy to tell when someone just wholesale copies another person. So I have been reading papers where the student has been writing, and then they have a couple of pages that they just took from somewhere else, and the word usage is different. The quality of the writing is different. It's very easy for me to say, okay, they've done something here. This is not the same person. So don't do that, okay? Plagiarism is something I will very much turn you in for. So do the work on your own. If you have questions, ask, but do not plagiarize. Okay, we've got an equity and diversity statement, a disability statement, FERPA, SACSOC statement, honor lock statement, and a COVID-19 statement. You can look through all of those and read that. Those should be good for the whole class. Now, at the end of your syllabus area, you've got this course summary, basically telling you all of the dates that things are due, so you can look at all of this here, and everything is in here, okay? Now, let's go to the modules. Let's look at this really quick so that you can see the way things are laid out, okay? So let me close. In my view, I think will look pretty similar to yours, but each of your modules is broken down by weeks. Okay, so week 1, this is where you had to come to get this video. Watch this video first. Okay, welcome to Ethics PowerPoint. That's where I got the PowerPoint with the 3 green slides that we looked at earlier. All right, introductions. Here's the introductions discussion. You click on that and do the introductions that I've asked you to do. Questions about assignments. Now, this is another discussion here. This discussion, as you see, it's for you to ask any questions about the assignments. It will be open the entire semester, and you can ask any questions you want to. So if you say, hey, I don't know what to do on this assignment, you can put that in there. And hopefully I'll see that, and we'll be able to respond so everybody can see it. And if for some reason you've got it up for several days and I haven't responded to it, you can send me a text and say, Dr. Howell, I put in a question about the assignments in the discussion. And then I can answer it. Please use this if you have questions that apply to everybody so that everybody has the option to see it, okay? Let's go back to the modules. Here, modules. And let's look at week 2. Now, you should notice, I hope this says it on yours too, every week's module has a prerequisite of the previous week's module. So please complete everything in these modules as you go. And so then you can open this during that week. They're set up so you're not going to really be able to work ahead. You're going to be able to work at a week at a time. Okay? So here in this one, you have the Prolegomena lecture video. You've got the PowerPoint. You've got the discussion. Well, this is instructions here. Watch the lecture video and ask any questions or comments about that. Okay, so tells you what to do in that module. You'll have the PowerPoint in there. You'll have the lecture discussion. That's the discussion. If you have questions about this particular lecture, you can put it in that discussion board. It's not a graded discussion board, but if you have questions about the lecture, you put it in there. This one has one of your discussions that are graded. Logic and Reasoning for Ethics and Life. You have quiz 1, you have your first quiz, and then you have read chapter 1, and that's where you'll tell me that you've read chapter 1. I'm going to see about, so this Prolegomena lecture video, when you click that, it should open up for you to a copy of the lecture from YouTube. Now, I've paused it. So the lectures, the videos are linked into my YouTube account, so you can access it from wherever you want. So you see this one's an hour and 17 minutes, so it's a long lecture. You may need to break it up into a couple of different watching sessions, okay? But go through this lecture in an in-person class would take several class meetings to get through. But you've got that video there. Take some time and watch it, and pay attention. Take your notes, okay? But you've got the video there. You can go back to it and refer to it anytime you want. Then you've got your quiz and your chapter for that week. Then the next week, same kind of structure. You're going to have the lecture video. You're going to have the PowerPoint for the lecture. You're going to have a discussion if you've got one. Now, here's another thing. So read chapter 1 was in week 2. Read chapter 2 and 3 are your reading assignments for week 3 and 4. And then you've got some links to articles. So this one on pragmatism. Okay? Let's see if it comes up here. If it doesn't come up, you may have to click that. This will link you to an article from a couple of different sources. Generally, they're the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy or the Stanford Encyclopedia on Philosophy. So when you have the modules and you have a linked article, that is also assigned reading. So you need to read this article. Okay? And I'll go in and add a question in the quiz for each article too to make sure that you've read them. So click and read the articles, read the chapter, and then watch your lecture video, and you can pull up the PowerPoint, and then you can do the discussion, ask any questions that you have in the lecture discussion, and move on. And each module is like that. Okay, now in week 5 here, you'll see that you've got your abortion case study, and it gives you the case study file, an example ethics case study. That's an example I provide for you, and another paper about how to write a paper for me. So these resources are there for you, and we'll go through these in subsequent weeks as we go along. But that's the basics of the syllabus and what you need to do for the course. I hope that, I know we've come in about 40 minutes on this. I will have very short videos each week to tell you what you need to do, remind you what to do, and to provide some opportunity for discussion. And hopefully we'll be able to have a Zoom meetings as well to help facilitate the learning. I hope you enjoy the class. I hope you have a good time. It's going to be some work, okay? But it's you can do it. I'm confident you can. And if you put in the effort, I'm confident you will be able to successfully complete this class. I wish you the best. Contact me if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon.